And I'm back, boys and girls. Alright, what the hell happened to my campfire? Why is my campfire gone? Oh, I forgot my introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's showtime. Now, where the hell happened to my goddamn... That's not a great start. Everything else seems to be here, but my campfire's just poof, gone. Okay then. Where was it made? Oh, crap. I'm gonna die again. And the right click is no longer blocking, so I'm dead. I hope you were all entertained by that. My god, combat in this game is fucking dog shit. That's the nicest thing I can say about it. It's horrible. Let's see. I mean, it's really bad. Okay? Other way. Oh, they've been really busy building. See, this is what happens when you've got a group of players working together. You can make bigger, nicer, niftier stuff. I expect that when the game goes live for realsies, you know, and the fact I can't see my arrow because of all the names in the way, that's really, really bad too. Now, is that mine? You see, I can't see my arrow. Drives me crazy. That's really awful. And I'm not moving, and yet I'm hearing the sounds of rocks being knocked over. This is an alpha for sure. Summon corpse. Alright, I'm summoning my corpse. No corpse in range. You couldn't have said that before I started my pulling. How about now? Evidently no. We'll see if I can summon my corpse from here. All right. Well, that was a thing that just happened. Attacked by a wolf, immediately dead. So far, I have to say, generally, I am not impressed with PAX Day, even for an alpha. I mean, somewhat impressed with what groups of people have managed to put together in 2 days. That's impressive. But I think I'm more impressed by the amount of effort they have put in as opposed to what the developers have wrought. I need more nice, all right? I don't think I have enough nice. Oh, that was a mistake. Here we go. Let's try this again. Okay, so that's the chest. No, I need 2 more nice. To make a fire. Because I had one and now it's gone. That's the kind of thing that shouldn't happen. Because you're predicating your entire game on things in the world. Making things in the world. Making changes to the world. You can't have things vanishing that players have put in the world. And theoretically, at least in my experience, that should be a database function. And nothing should vanish from a database. I hear something again, wolf-like. Sounds like wolves. I would like to note that as a design thing I would like to see, wolves and other wildlife don't like fire as a general thing. So if I had had my fire up and it hadn't vanished, looks like everything else is still here, that they wouldn't attack camp. What was I working on? My tiny stool also vanished yesterday. That never came back. Oh, there's somebody or something moving over there. Moving slowly. Is it like a deer? It's a wolf, I'm screwed. It's a deer. I doubt I can catch a deer. So, basic tailoring tools. Bone fragments, flax. I have no idea where flax is found. Basic leather working tools. Bone fragments, flax. Fletching tools, bone fragments, flax. Blacksmithing tools. Iron sheets, iron bars, and iron nails. These are all well beyond my current making abilities. How about with blacksmithing builder? Okay, for the beehive. I'd need beehives, which I've got, straw, which I don't have, so I could make the rest of it. We've got the carpenter. I'd need a bunch of clay to make a kiln. Over here in props, a stool, a tiny stool, a low wooden shelf, a wash bowl. I'd have to make the wash bowl and then place the wash bowl. See? Right in my left ear is the sound of somebody doing something with a rock. I don't have the recipe for the wash bowl yet. Okay, well, let's see. I need to find flax, straw, and clay. These are the things that I could most definitely use. Is that... I'm going to assume that's water over there and that any clay or anything has been thoroughly absconded with. Hey there. I understand how some people can call themselves streamers yet sit silent for 20 minutes running their tune around mindlessly. Yeah, well, one of the things that I have in my favor for that is I am by nature a self-talker. I talk to myself. And so it's relatively easy, even if there's no one in chat, for me to self-narrate. Just describe what I'm doing. And I think actually self-narration is an important tool for most streamers to learn if they're new to streaming. because that's not natural to, talk to yourself about what you're doing. But it's really useful for exactly what you described. So that somebody doesn't tune into the stream, watch for 30 seconds, the guy doesn't say a word, and they go, well, this is the most boring thing ever, I'm just going to bail. Also, from my college years, spent 3 years doing competitive public speaking. And so me sort of stream of consciousness talking comes pretty easily. Oh, that's... I didn't want that. I didn't want to go swimming. My stamina's going down. Why am I not going up? Thank you. Having spent years doing public speaking... mumbling to myself incoherently would be more indicative of old age. Actually making sense do it, yeah, that's a little more work. I'm going to head down here, I think, and hope to find... No, I can head here. I'm going to head south instead, so to my right. Past the lake. Talk to yourself much more in your 60s than you ever did before. I have always been a self-talker. Well, maybe not always, but ever since I got out on my own, so college. Also, because I live alone, there is no incentive to not talk to myself. I don't have someone going, why are you always talking to yourself? And I don't feel, self-conscious about it. But there is also an element of, I think of doing more self-narration and whatnot as you get older, simply from a point of view of you want to be constantly reassuring yourself that you're not losing your mind. And assuming my vision is correct, since you retired, you live alone, probably you're talking to yourself is more common. Yeah, I think so. Because spending, 8 hours in with no conversation, you may be watching a stream, something like that, but if you're not speaking, not doing any sort of communication, I think you would start to feel a little weirder than you are by talking to yourself. So, I'm assuming that those are player created, in which case, first, groups of people have been doing some pretty solid work, and second, solid work to the... See, I keep hearing the sound of rock on rock, unless it's the rocks in my head. My compliments to the Unreal team. And this part of the coding is impressive for the PAX Day team. If, in fact, it's rendering out accurately player-made... I'm not moving. Why is everything making noises? When you start answering yourself is when the problems are. Well, when you answering yourself and it's not a conscious act. Yeah, that would not be great. Uh-oh, I did not pick a great path here. What I recall from the previous alpha is there were buildings around not built by players, examples of what could be built by players, meaning they were modded in. Okay, that's possible too then. But I'm headed in that direction. If you weren't around for it, one of the objects in my camp vanished, my campfire, and the instant I showed up, I was attacked by a wolf and killed. I did not get to... I would not call that a conspicuous achievement of mine. Those rocks are very much alive, it seems. Yeah, I guess that's it. That is what it sounds like. What you just said, though, reminded me of where the sounded familiar. Is some game or movie or TV show where there were little dribbles of rocks falling. Wow. I can make mead and beer. More hops. As a gamer, it's clear I have my priorities straight. Hops? Yes, please. So there's some game or something where I remember there being little dribbles of rocks being important, and the sound was very familiar. Game's a long ways off from being anything viable, it seems. They have grand plans, but it might be on the Star Citizen path. I mean, visually, the game's nice. It's really good. As I've said before, I'm not a good judge of how beautiful a game is anymore, in that a lot of them I don't seem to notice upgrades over previous games that other people rhapsodize about. That's a me thing. But yeah, I actually would. I mean, the combat, at least at the very lowest levels, is so primitive and unimpressive, disappointing, frustrating so far. Looking for clay if I can find it. My odds are I won't find it. Clay or straw or flax. Functionality supersedes beauty. Content supersedes beauty. I agree. Yeah. Well, I mean, take a look at the number of people in the world playing RuneScape every day. It isn't because it's a pretty game. And if we want to talk about games like this, we only need simply look at Valheim, which is not an exceptionally good-looking game, but it has the gameplay that people want. And so it's been wildly successful, where most of the other similar types of games haven't been even remotely close to successful. I think I currently have like 5 of these types of games currently installed. 5 or 6. 6, I think. I've got Pax Day, Nightingale, Enshrouded, V Rising, Valheim, and I'm missing one more, but I do have 6 of them installed right now. And I would say this is the least impressive so far. Now, it's an alpha. The others are, well, a lot of them are in early access still. Yeah, but some games get played because kids grew up playing them and have not emotionally progressed. I would certainly agree that that's not just true about games. It's true about media in general. The number of adults who talk about Dragon Ball Z, as an example. The Honest Trailers guys did a trailer for One Piece. You're old enough to have a childhood that predates the computer. Not by much. I started using computers at about 10 or 11 on a teletype, hooked up to a mainframe. But the One Piece live action show, the Honest Trailers guys did an honest trailer for, and one of the lines in there was something like, from the manga read by children, to the anime read by children, to the live action show meant for children but watched by 30-year-old men. And that's kind of the way I see a lot of popular media, is that so many of them seem to be people who are so attached to that time in their life that's how that it is a controlling part of their self-image, if that makes any sense. I mean, I have fond memories of the things that I enjoyed as a kid. I loved Speed Racer as a kid. Actually, I liked Speed Racer. I loved Johnny Quest as a kid. As a kid. I have no desire to watch either one anymore, or to have a live action Johnny Quest. I am finding literally nothing. There is, and I have seen what happens when you attempt to swim across large bodies of water. You don't. You swim partway across and sink. Don't think you were doing much on a teletype at 10. Recall creating a program with punch cards in the 60s. Oh, I did as well. Yeah, I programmed with a punch card, Fortran. Now, there were a simple... My first introduction, for instance, to binary computing was, in essence, sort of a sort of a packet designed to educate, not with toys, but sort of, it had like a punched hole with a slider, a piece of cardboard you'd slide inside a punched hole thing to sort of act like the moving bits of a register and stuff. And I got that in 6th grade or 5th grade. So that would have been 9 or 10. That was my introduction to binary, as an example. And so by 10 or 11, I'm trying to remember when I first had an introduction to actually sitting in front of a teletype. And it would, I can't remember if it was 5th grade, 6th grade, or 7th grade. I think it was 5th or 6th. So that would have been 69 or 70. No, mainframes were not on every street corner. But I was in the East Bay and Berkeley. The Lawrence Hall of Science would be an example. Where kids could play on mainframes, on teletypes hooked up to a mainframe. And Lawrence Hall of Science was we went there fairly regularly, and I can't remember. It might have been after we moved, so 6th or 7th grade. And yeah, if you were in part of this is going to sound like I'm boasting. If you were in part of one of the MGM programs of the time, the mentally gifted minors, one of the things we would do is we would go in Monterey, Naval Port Graduate School. Cool place. We would go to Lawrence Hall of Science in Berkeley, Berkeley Hills. I was in the East Bay in San Leandro at the time. Hayward and San Leandro. We moved in 6th grade. And also, we could count on going to the Exploratorium regularly. And the Exploratorium was another place where you would have had access to computers, teletypes hooked up to a mainframe. Or at least conceivably. But definitely at the Lawrence Hall of Science. I heard something. Sounded like panting. There's rabbits? Squirrels? Rabbits or squirrels? Rabbits. I missed him. Twice. Where'd he go? Oh. Missed him. Stop running. I only want your skin, your meat, your bones, and your bits. Come on. Oh, he doubled back, the little bastard. Yeah, that was very... I had to get well ahead of it and start my attack, and then it ran into my thrust. Combat is not in a great place. Been all over. You're in Sacto? I'm in the lovely and scenic Silicon Valley. It was a mean tease. You hate looking at games that might not be done for years? It depends. you can make a game that is not going to be done for years, and it can still be playable and fun, and just it's going to get better and more polished and more fun and have more content as it goes. This one right now really does feel alpha-ish, to the point I'm not sure that they should have had a large public alpha, because this could actually, you know, hurt the attention of players. You know, they might see this, and it's alpha for sure. And it's pretty early alpha, I would say. MMOs are always a work in progress. That's true. That's definitely true. But sometimes the work goes negative. You know, they make changes and improvements and add content, and over time, the game becomes less compelling. I think that's not uncommon, as a lot of times, for monetary reasons, they are trying to seek new players, and therefore they bring in or simplify systems and can alienate the ones they already have. Yeah, or it just gets stale. Now you can see the popularity of some of the older games. I mentioned RuneScape, also classic WoW, and I'm a fan of City of Heroes and the City of Heroes servers. Now that City of Heroes is back with us legally and licensed. I was at Apple. I'd be in that area. You moved around a lot. Yeah, I was an East Bay boy until I moved down here. Large campus south of you now. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I'm not aware of that, but it doesn't surprise me. Any place with relatively inexpensive land and preferably good power, funnily enough. Yeah, I figured you meant an Apple campus. I mean, compared to the land prices here, I can't imagine the infinite loop building, the main headquarters for Apple. I can't even begin to imagine as to what the real estate value of that place would be. Yeah, no, seriously, good power matters. Good, cheap power. Given the amount of energy that gets burned on servers. Well, a lot of the same stuff. A lot of it is, these days, there's still some stuff that's happening for Bitcoin farming purposes. But mostly it's for LLMs, for large language models, for AI. Look, mushrooms. Death cap mushrooms. They look innocent enough. I will not eat these. Oh. It's a pig. It's a boar. This one I may kill before it kills me. I should. That was me pressing the left mouse button repeatedly. And I've got new bits that I can make. That is my first combat victory, unless you count the rabbit. Rabbits. Two of them. Oh, we got another pig. I'm going in. Yeah, come get some. Got him. Ha! That pig thought he could see me. Inventory being a huge issue? Yes, in this, definitely. And there's kind of two ways you can handle inventory. You can handle it by spaces. This one's not mine. You can handle it with either spaces or weight. And I'm not entirely sure how this one does it. This one's mine, I think. Premium subpath. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't think they've announced monetization on this one yet, as far as I know. Grilled meat chunks or grilled meat chunks? Why are there two? I don't know. There's even a third. Deer carcass, rabbit carcass, boar carcass. I will craft all of my boar. Looks like my second boar chunk. Okay, we succeeded. Good. Won't come till close to release, and people will freak. Yes, they will freak for real. They will freel. Definitely. Don't screw up the bunny. Okay, good. So right now our skills. My carpentry is at 5. My cooking is still at 1. Blacksmithing, armor smithing, and woodcutting. Woodcutting is also at 5. The others are 2 or at 1. I'm almost up to 2 in the block. What about spears? Oh, okay. Hand spears, I'm up to 4. Got it. You okay with game companies making profits? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, seeing as that's how you made your living for years. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in if it's a free-to-play game and I'm having fun, I'm willing to spend some money because they've earned it. And as examples, I dropped some money, $20, $30, something like that, into Torchlight Infinite. And I dropped, I believe, $20 into Marvel Puzzle Quest, a match 3 game, because I've played a lot of it. So they've earned some of my money. EA stock has been very good to you. My stock purchases have been very good for me, too. Well, that's not entirely true. Let me tell you a story about the money I don't have. I mean, generally, I've been very fortunate in my professional career. No doubt about it. I'm not complaining about that. Is that a person? No. Yes, it is. Okay. Match 3s can be addictive. Yeah. Well, it's one I will use when I'm watching something on, the left-hand screen, and I've got the game up here, or vice versa. Right? So, once upon a time, I bought 1,000 shares of Apple stock at 26 and a quarter. And it immediately went down. Down to about 13. And I said to myself, if it ever gets back up to 26 and a quarter, sell. So I put in a sell order for 26 and a quarter. I think about 3 years later, it slowly crept up and hit my number. And for my $26,250 investment, I made $250 profit. That's less than 1% profit in 3 years. Now, it gets interesting from here. Apple's stock split 2 for 1. That's 2,000 shares. It split 2 for 1 again. That's 4,000 shares. 2 for 1 again. That's 8,000 shares. 8,000 shares of Apple. It split 7 for 1. That's 56,000 shares. It split 3 for 1. That's 168,000 shares worth about $25 million that I don't have. But overall, I have been very, very fortunate. I got to retire early. My house is paid off. My car is paid off. I have been very, very lucky. I like to tell that story because that's what it's like in Silicon Valley. You get lucky, you get lucky, you get unlucky, you get unlucky. Yeah, stock purchase plan. I got options at General Magic, and that allowed me to pay off my condo. And then some leftover shares from Apple allowed me to retire. But that's Silicon Valley, I didn't get rich. I could have. I had the shares in my metaphorical grubby little hands. I reinvested that $26,250 into Juniper stock, and I think that's worth about $8,000 now. I still have those shares. What else could I make? Is there anything else I can make from what I just got. I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, Juniper Networking. They were sort of a competitor to Cisco. Right, that's the wood chopping block, and there's nothing I can really do there. Oh, never heard of them? Yeah, they're in Silicon Valley too. They just recently, I think, got an offer to be bought out, or accepted an offer to be bought out. A friend of mine was working for them at about that time, and he was like employee number 11. And so when they IPO'd, he retired immediately. Or, well, at any rate, quite quickly. There is no doubt a lot of money to be made in Silicon Valley. But it is expensive to live here. The sounds. The sounds are driving me crazy in this game. Oh, I hit him once. I hit him twice. I got a deer. Generic leather, premium butchered deer, artisan crafted deer meat selection, quality butchered deer, cut deer, deer meat selection, rough cut deer. He ran right into me. I didn't want to do it. I just had my spear sticking out. Accidents will happen. Definitely an industrial accident. That's what that was. Blueberry. More blueberry. It's not easy to make out the things that have a use from the things that don't on the ground cover. Like the problem I had discerning which were the trees I could chop down and which were the ones I couldn't. Know anything about this studio, where they are, how large? I believe they are a Scandinavian studio. I do not know about the size. Honey, I'm home. I have a grilled. I have a deer. We're gonna make a grilled deer carcass. I do like venison. Blueberry mead. I learned a new recipe. Okay, that repaired my items. It did repair my items. Okay, repairing is easy. Hey, I didn't get any progress on my hand spears when I killed the deer. Rough wooden planks and wooden pegs. Let's see what we can make. Planks, rough wooden planks. Do I have any pegs? Wooden beams, wooden beams. Inventory is full. Oh, I'm looking the wrong way. Wait, what? I'm confused. Frequently. Ooh, one peg. Pegs. Nope, wrong place. Chopping block, pegs. I don't have any wood. Okay, we'll swap over to our little Axie-Poo and see if we can't chop some stuff down. Or pick some stuff up. Either will work. Have I seen any of the Monsters and Memories development? I haven't really looked into it. I remember the name. I think it's supposed to be sort of a, what is it? Sort of an EverQuest-alike, something along those lines, to bring back sort of a somewhat updated version of older school MMORPGs, I think. Son of a bitch. What the hell happened with freaking Restream? Restream didn't go off. So for some reason, I am streaming, but only to you guys, only to Twitch. Because Restream didn't go off, and when I turned it on, I started streaming, it didn't go out live. I have no idea why it did this at all. Sorry to my YouTube viewers. This will have to be up on YouTube, and you'll have to catch it there. I'm very sorry. Almost an exact rip-off down to the artwork dialogues. Feel free to restart. Now, I will continue at it. I don't expect them to be on for horribly much longer tonight. As I feel like I'm not... I don't want to say I'm blocked from making progress. It's just the progress is going to be extraordinarily slow in this game solo, from what I have been able to determine, and from some of the other streams I watched. And while I certainly have no problem at all with a game that's designed that way, and I might be interested in a game designed that way, if I had any close friends, guildies, or whatnot, who were also in the alpha. Actually shocked at how exact a rip-off it is. You think maybe using original content pulled off the old CDs. Well, that will get them in trouble. Of course, who the hell knows? Given the fact that that is... Let's see... They're owned by Enad Global 7, right? And Enad Global 7 is a monumental clusterfuck. So even if they're straight out stealing, those guys might not have enough of a clue that they would even wake up and sue. Let's see, it was Sony Online, and then it went to Daybreak as part of Daybreak, and Daybreak was purchased by Enad Global 7. Enad Global, it's European. I think it may be Scandinavian as well. I know Embracer Group, which bought a lot of other games, and has currently been a complete clusterfuck. Fuck you, Lars Wingefors, CEO of Embracer Group. He's the guy who was trying to make a deal with the Saudis, their sovereign fund, for $2 billion, and was buying all these game companies, and then the Saudis pulled out, and since then they've had to lay off thousands of employees and kill studios and kill many games. Lars Wingefors has done more damage to the gaming community at large than any one single person. Yes. Oh, is that where Enad Global is? Austria? And yes, MBS Action, the Saudi sovereign fund, was looking at getting more into gaming. They have a gaming subdivision, the Saudi fund. And they were going to apparently put $2 billion into the Embracer Group, and they pulled out. Probably because they realized Lars Wingefors has his head so far up his ass that he has to unbutton his shirt to talk. Not a fan. Been watching that fund to terrorize the PGA with Liv. Yeah, yeah. And they won, sadly. When the guy in charge of the PGA pulled, what was the guy's name? Pulled a full Quisling on all the loyal golfers in the PGA and made an agreement with Liv. He betrayed the players who stayed loyal. Because money, of course. I was going to make something. What the hell was I going to make? What on earth was I going to make? I was going to make the wash bowl of all things? I was, yeah. I need 4 more rough wooden planks. It's in everyone's monetary interest to have it go somewhere, so that's where it will. It will go. Simply because it's in the Quisling's best interest that it does. I had to make I need 1 more. Of course I do. Apparently, from what I saw, I didn't check the details. The PGA paid Tiger Woods $100 million, and Rory $50 million for their loyalty. Mind you, the rumor has it that they were offered $1 billion each from the Saudis. So loyalty really paid off, huh? I need a wash bowl, you know? They just sniped Rom for $330 million or so. Yeah, it's just, the entire thing is just disgustingly, vilely corrupt. Storage, round container. Small wooden barrel, a hefty container. I'm going to have a wash bowl. I now have a wash bowl. What the hell was that? Was that the pickup animation? It was, okay. I will examine it. Wow, that's impressive. I examined it and it vanished? Back into my inventory, all right. Yeah, I don't think they should have released this into the wild, frankly. Bucket cannot build there. Tiger's over. He's just a hobbled figurehead, and Tiger took Saudi money for decades. Yeah, but everyone did, as opposed to when LIV was announced. By the way, LIV stands for 54, and now they're talking about changing the number of holes from 54 to 72. Are they going to rename themselves? LXXII? I doubt it. Oh yeah, he would show up, millions show up, tourneys, more for the tournament prize. Yeah, that's been a thing in golf forever, though, where most golfers, or at least large numbers of golfers, would go to smaller tournaments and they'd make more money on the appearance fees. So the water bucket was really useful. Not really. Is there anything else of interest? Wash bowl, wooden door, no, simple chest, torch, pointy stick. See, it's actually a pointy stick. See, for this I need flax, and I haven't found any flax. But that would largely change the agreement LIV has with their current golfers. Yeah. The whole thing is just a screwed up mess. So there's not really anything else here I can make unless I get access to a few difficult to get materials. Flax, clay, flint, reeds. And I have seen none of those. And my assumption is that I know players were complaining about the difficulty in finding clay, for example, where basically they were near a river and there was one deposit and they found it and they went up and down the entire length of the river and couldn't find any more clay. So it's like I said, it's just not. I know it's been a long time since I was in an alpha. And I know they're not supposed to be, feature complete or anything like that at an alpha. I just think they would have been better served with a smaller alpha, I think, under an NDA. Because a lot of people are going to watch, not me playing, obviously, but a lot of people are going to check, streamers and you're going to get reviews and stuff, and I think you're going to get sort of like two types of reviews of the alpha. You're going to get the ones from the people who played solo, like me, where it just ain't cutting it, and those who played with a group of friends, and they are obviously going to have had a significantly different experience than I've had. They're going to get to see a lot more of the game, I expect. Anyway, I think it was headed away. Again, I can't see. There it is. What is up there? I don't know what is up there. I'm going to find out, though. Can't really do alpha these days. Prefer closely finished games. They do gather information from looking at stats of what people craft and what hasn't gotten crafted in mind. Yeah, they'll smooth things out, I expect. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just saw it in Nightingale. They just had their 0.2 patch yesterday, I think, or the day before. Red Onion. And, they've done a lot of changes, small and large. Because, yeah, they live on the metrics. They're going to farm the metrics for useful information. Penny bun mushroom. My inventory's full. Of course it is. God damn it. What can I throw out? Or eat. I can eat. I'm going to eat grilled meat chunks. I can throw that out. Lots of mushrooms. Last game, we built data warehouse, simply collect gameplay data used for monetization, other data analysis by self-proclaimed data scientists. We were gathering like a billion records a day. Yeah, I mean, I have always been a game metrics nerd, which sounds weird. But, what does that sound? Oh, I get to die again. Wolves. Time to run. Or try. No, I've always been a huge fan of game metrics. There's so much useful information. Interesting information. I know it's a crazy thing for a game player to say. But then I've done a lot of reading. I mean, like actual books on game design, game theory, stuff like that. So I'm a wonk. I'm not a developer. Well, not a computer game developer anyway. I mean, done some board game development. And I've always found it fascinating. Metrics, demographics, stuff like that. Start losing players, it helps to see where things are failing. Yeah, in the progress. Yeah. One of the things, speaking of a game sort of like this, a good degree like this in a lot of ways, in New World, I got into, I think it was alphas. I think early alphas. Yes, it was early alphas. When they first started some public alpha testing. And it was a lot more of a PvP game at that point. In fact, their initial design was to be a PvP game with factions warring over control, that kind of stuff. We were in the first New World Alpha? Yeah. And what was interesting about that, and every time I see someone complain that the Care Bears destroyed the PvP game, that all the Care Bears were complaining because it wasn't because of the PvP. They ignore, there was a community blog that was posted by somebody at Amazon, talking about what they had seen and what they expected. They thought it was so toxic you left immediately and didn't come back until it got reworked, and Smedley apparently got involved. My understanding is Smedley was never involved in the New World. Now, unless you've heard differently through insider contacts. Specifically, he was working on an entirely different game in an entirely different studio. But it's possible, certainly, they asked him for advice. But when they talked about the changes they were making, they said, we thought we had put measures in place that would reduce ganking and grief play. What they found was, like every other PvP game designer for MMO has found, is that it didn't work. They had heat maps. They spoke specifically of heat maps where PvP deaths occurred. And the vast, overwhelming majority of them, high-level players killing low-level players just outside of town. Exactly what any player who's ever been in a PvP MMO would expect. Yeah, Smedley left not too long ago. Yeah, Smedley, oh, believe me, I played Star Wars Galaxies. I know Smedley. Smedley pushes games out the door. That's what he does. Neverwinter got pushed out the door. You see, though, some of the mistakes they made would not have happened if Smedley were involved. Things like not sanitizing text chat to where you could drop pictures into text chat. You could drop executable code into text chat. That wouldn't have happened if Smedley had been involved. He was a professional. He might push a busted-ass game out the door, but it wouldn't be one where duplication was rampant. Not after all the time he spent dealing with dupes at SOE, dupes and exploits. And the exploits in Neverwinter at full launch were mind-boggling. Invincibility bugs, where if you ran the game in a window and you were in the middle of an iframe and you clicked on the title bar and held it down so that the window was movable, you would be frozen in the middle of the iframe and you'd be invincible. It's exactly what happened with Vanguard. He pushed that out the door. I never played Vanguard at launch, so I can't speak to that. Economy was in chaos and broken, and duping was out of control. It took 2 years to recover. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that particular case. But for instance, duping was very, very difficult to do, if not impossible to do, in Star Wars Galaxies because of the serial numbering that they did on all made items, making it extraordinarily difficult, if not impossible to dupe. Later on, I learned there was a mechanic in Star Wars Galaxies where there was a thing called slicing where you could buff an item. A smuggler could hack an item and make it better. Apparently there was an exploit, because once it was sliced, you couldn't slice it again. But there was an exploit that allowed multiple people to slice it at the same time. I heard about that years later. But the number of dupes and everything in New World at launch were just mind-blowing. Played Star Wars Galaxies for 5 minutes. That's when Vanguard was out. Yeah, I know, Vanguard was Brad's EverQuest 2. I played it a little a few years later. There's an emulator out there for it right now. Why do I have 19 grilled meat chunks? I haven't killed that many things. I'm confused. Me being confused is not news, by the way. Me, I'm confused many times. Helped get that emulator going. I played a bit on it. It was obviously a work in progress, but it was in pretty good shape. It was coming along nicely, I would say. Ordered all the data from your fan site, millions of records. You, sir, are a hardcore nerd. And coming from me, I assume you know that that's a compliment. Wait, did I not put a bunch of death caps in? It's Maze. Thought I'd put them in. I'm wrong. I've got a lot of sapwood. I have 130 sapwood. I'm a sap. Haha. Okay, never mind. I didn't say that. Yeah. Wow. And I have no iron for making iron stuff. And I don't think there's any other tools I can make, right? Wood cutting's up to 6. There's just really nothing I can do. Because I don't think there's anything here that I can make, that I can actually make, that furthers my ability to make more stuff. That needs flax. Flax. Flint. Reeds. And iron. These are things I haven't found. I don't know. I haven't been... let's see if I can whack on some rocks and if I can get anything out of that. Evidently, that's not a rock I can whack. Looks like a rock I should be able to whack. Nope. That's not a whackable rock. Nope. I don't know what a whackable rock would look like. Seen a roadmap or timeline for this game? I don't think so. I mean, I currently have their Discord available to me, but I have not like scoured it for information. So I'm assuming then iron comes from... Well, there's something glowy there in front of me. Here lies someone, Yugi. Yugi. Here lies Yugi. Poor Yugi. He was a good man, Yugi. Oh, time to run again. Oh, wait, pigs. Them I can kill. I don't know if I can kill 3. Also, it's nice that I can hit them at multiple times, multiple of them at once. If I can finish 2 of them off, I'm gonna die to boars. It's an old boar, and I'm dead. You know? You know? Heard someone talking about naval content, shipbuilding, ocean battles. I have definitely not heard about anything like that. Maybe they have spoken about it, but if so, I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to leave myself right here with a short stream. I just don't see where I can make any significant progress playing alone. Sadly. So I don't know if I'm going to be spending any more time on in this alpha. I'll probably come back for the next one. I mean, I did it for New World. Tomorrow, however, unless the developers put it off for another week, I will be playing another new game, but it's an aquatic survival building game called Age of Water. Currently available on Steam for the free tutorial, and I think it's free to play starting tomorrow for the launch, I believe. I played through the tutorial, and it seems fine. We'll see how much staying power it's got, how much depth it's got, how interesting it is after the initial half an hour or 45 minutes worth of play. And I will be streaming that tomorrow. I'm not sure what time it's supposed to start, so I might be streaming early, or it may be I won't start playing until stream time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night in Europe, early morning in Asia and Australia. So I'll put it in Discord. Well, I'm going to play it by ear. Hopefully it does launch tomorrow. It's supposed to. Knock on wood. But I should be back tomorrow. Early or at the regular time. 50-50. So I hope the rest of your Wednesday night's great. Congratulations. You've survived a hump day. You can now coast towards the weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully you'll see me soon. Have a great night tonight. Take care and ciao for now. Good night, guys.